couldn't hold me. I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's a reach. We ready. Who ready?
Many fans say they're disgusted and want change.
I came from there, we love y'all, ain't nobody else, man.
Disgusted.
I am upset, you feel me? I am from Virginia. I flew all the way in today to watch this. I'm sad.
Frustrated.
We got another Romo on our hands. Choke like a...
Disappointed.
We need another quarterback, another coach, everything. It don't matter to me. It don't matter.
That's how Cowboys fans felt after watching the team implode once again in the playoffs.
We need help. We need Jesus.
Many blaming the coaches.
Mike McCarthy losing at home against the Packers.
Says a lot.
I think legacy gone, man. Like, you won a Super Bowl with the Packers, and then you go take over a new team, and you lose at home against that team.
Without Aaron Rodgers.
You know,
it's embarrassing.
Others, the quarterback.
No more Dak Prescott.
ASAP, new quarterback.
Dak, get him out of here. Trey Lance, the next stud. Let's go. Let's go, Rangers.
And many fans demanding change.
12-5, 12-5, 12-5. Who cares when we lose like this to the freaking Packers, who shouldn't even be here? It's disgusting. Let's get a real head coach. And if he can't do it for us, let's get a new quarterback. I'm tired.
Fans came from all over and dealt with the cold weather just to watch this mess.
We drove far for no reason.
Fans say they were fed up and freezing.
We're from Florida. We're freezing our off.
I still here since 10, just to freeze, to lose. Not worth it.
There was enough blame to go around as the Cowboys suffered one of the most embarrassing losses in the team's playoff history. And now
We cannot beat these. We cannot beat this motherfucking team for shit.
Man, y'all. Man, well, first of all, appreciate y'all for joining us for 1-1 Sports Show. As you see, the admins, they want to have fun at the expense of me and Dante with this Cowboy slander, but I'm like, have at it. If there's any team that deserve it today, it's the Cowboys. So, what's up, Trey?
What's up, fellas? What's up, Shawnee? What's up, Dante? How y'all feeling, man? I mean, look, I'm going to take that question off the board for y'all, man. I'm going to take it off the board. It's the middle of the week. You know, it's still sports week. And, you know, my best friend, he's a Cowboys fan, man. I didn't even give him a call. We didn't even reach out to each other, man. So I got a lot going on in my life right now, man. So I'm just here with y'all, man, because I need this as my life therapy, man. Connected with men around the world, around the country, man. It's cool. It's cool as hell. I ain't lying.
Man, it's and the thing about it, just before we jumped on the show, Cowboys, it came out the news today that Cowboys McCarthy is coming back for the 2024 season. And so since Black Man them, they wanted to play that video, I was listening to those I'm basically those emotional fans, and I was hearing how they basically, you know, let go of Dak, let go of McCarthy, basically to start everything over. The way that the game ended last week, it got to a point where if Jerry just woke up Monday morning and decided to blow the whole thing up, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But like I see, I'm also a Texans fan. I've experienced that unknown when you're trying to find a quarterback. The Texans kind of got lucky because they was able to draft Deshaun Watson. Then when he left, outside of all that off the field stuff, the next quarterback, well, no, I think Davis Mills was drafted. I don't know if he was already on the roster.
Now didn't they draft him in like 2020 or something like that? One of those years.
I think he was a backup behind Watson, and then he promoted to starter. But obviously, with the next time they had a high enough draft pick, they got Stroud, and that seems to
That's a tall task.
Be a good thing.
That's a tall task right there.
Yeah, people who Texas would beat Baltimore. I get to that game. But people who be wanting Dak, I don't think they know what they're asking for. Because if you let go of Dak, because it's not easy to find a quarterback out there. You about to enter this land of unknown, this limbo, losing seasons. It has no expiration date. The Cowboys fan base kind of got lucky because the Cowboys, if anything, has always been a contending team.
Correct.
During the Romo years, and then immediately during the Dak years. So a lot of Cowboys fans don't know how that infinite unknown when you search for the quarterback. So as much as you don't want Dak leading behind center, my whole point about that is, okay, you let go of Dak, you better be either ready to experience this infinite unknown of losing, or you better have a plan to back up, to backfill that position from Dak. So his contract thing's a whole other story. You gotta give props to his agent for working out there. So they worked out that to a masterpiece. But I think people just do not know, because I've experienced football, damn so baseball with the Astros, that infinite unknown where your team is just losing and you don't know when you're gonna come out of it. As proud as this Cowboys fan base is, man, you better be happy that you have a contending team and try to tweak something. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, changing the coach, but that's not going to happen because McCarthy coming back. Dak is obviously going to be here. Ownership, front office is not going to. I really don't know, because my whole thing is the Cowboys have been doing the same thing all these years and getting the same results. I want them to do something more aggressive, but that's just not how they are. So I joked about it because McCarthy coming back, I'm like, okay, it's going to be another 12-5 season with an embarrassing playoff loss. That's just what the Cowboys are. Until they make some major changes, if it's not going to be with the coaching staff, how you go about free agency, how you go about the offseason, I'm not expecting anything this year. Another good regular season team, but you probably won't have another embarrassing premature playoff loss.
Man, I mean, Shani, I basically, where I'm going to go with it is this. So, and Shani said this in our chat. So, the quarterback is going to get the brunt of the credit and the brunt of the shame when the loss. I say, man, you can really divvy up the loss old school style with 33%, where you get the 33, everybody gets 33 point whatever percent of the loss. You put it on Dak in the offense, because I can't forget about a receiver that caught 135 passes, just 3rd and 5, just dropping an easy one. I'll put it on the coaching staff as well, because this is like, you can talk whatever you want about analytics, but let's just talk about, take analytics out, remove that word, and let's talk about probability. If I come out and I throw the ball on first down, incomplete, coaches hate that. I hate a coach that's gonna panic and run the ball so we can get some. Why are you gonna run the ball, purposely get 3rd and long? If anything, okay, maybe you throw a screen, maybe you throw a short pass to get a few yards. Hell, even if you want to be aggressive again, and let's try to get 10 yards. If you get 5, you get 5. Now you got 35. That's better than 3rd and 7. McCarthy does that a lot, and it frustrates me. You got here by saying, ditch the let's run the ball style or whatever, and let's be aggressive. Let's push the ball down the field. Let's force feed our best player until they can stop it. And that came to a detriment in the game. But the defense, you can't, and that's the craziest thing about being the quarterback and it being so polarizing. The defense is getting the hit last. Bro, you gave up 48 points. Okay, you gave up 41. He threw a pick 6. Hey, bro, I cannot let you off the hook. I cannot let you off the hook. When the offense showed a little bit of life and scored some points, you let that team march right down the field. Yeah, and then Dan Quinn, hey man, I'm not gonna disrespect what he's done while he's here, because people got to realize that 2020 defense was atrocious. It made my eyes hurt. And for him to come in 21 and make a big change, and then for 22 to come in and what he did, and then this year in the regular season, at times what he did, and with a mass unit and different things there here and there. But some of his philosophies We know that players got hurt. We know players got hurt. But Trey, as a coach, if I come at you with 220-pound linebackers, what are you gonna do? What's your game plan as the opposing coach?
Hold on. I'm offense.
No, you're the opposing. You're the opposing offense. And you
I'm the offensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
Coming from a running back. Yeah. Every time we get the ball 1st and 10 from the 30-yard, it depends on what the game is, because now I'm going into coach mode. Depends on what the game is. 1st and 10, first starting the game, it's 11 man hitting 11 man. We running the ball from our best running back to our best tackle. We're gonna run the ball 1st down. I don't care if we get to the line of scrimmage and we stop. I'd rather go with 1st, 2nd and 10 and try to do some old dumb play. Then we get sacked early, or throw it out to the side. He might get 2 yards. I can run the ball and get 2 yards because my running back is a running back. Hit my lineman, I block in the run differently than the pass. That's just me coaching. Now, as far as the game plan, you got to look at the game plan. McCarthy was calling the plays. He wasn't calling the listen. He was, and you got to listen. I just analyze football. Dallas is still one of the best teams in the NFC. Y'all can see that. They was winning. Everybody was waving Dallas flags, Dallas everything. In this playoff game, McCarthy was a part of that loss because he's placed. Now, the problem with Dallas, and you've seen it, they need running backs. They need a beefy dude. They let Zeke go. They felt like Zeke was too old, but they got Pollard. He just come off a bad knee injury, and they try to finesse. See, the thing about McCartney, he try to finesse football. When you playing late in the second half of the season, your running back got to be running. That's why here's going to be the catch. Dallas got a good defense. They always got a good team, a solid team. If Dallas gone and get Derrick Henry and let him run that ball, Dallas wins Super Bowl 2 years in a row. I'm trying to tell you. It don't matter. And McCartney, listen, he wasn't going to beat Green Bay, man. Come on, man. That's where his heart is. He won a Super Bowl. He ain't going to beat Green Bay. He ain't gonna beat Green Bay.
I can't give him a pass on that.
He don't want to beat Green Bay.
I don't want to go with it from that standpoint. I'm gonna go from this standpoint. Where is the head coach? I mean, where's the guy that wants to be a head coach as the defensive coordinator? Why on earth are you coming up with that type of game plan? Like, I understand. We know now. We knew from the jump, from that injury, they played it off. The Cowboys. Or it's with McCarthy, that's one thing I will give him credit for. He's good at trying to disguise injuries. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't help when your general manager / owner is on television and on radio speaking about it. But we knew that Gilmore was compromised, but he was going to play in that game. He said Dallas was overconfident, simply got punched in the mouth and scared. I don't know what it was, but they did get punched in the mouth, and I won't say overconfident. I'm gonna say underprepared. That team was not prepared to play. They were showing clips of it, and they said, hey, they were showing clips of the defensive line alignment and say, what are they? They are begging for them to run the ball. And I will say this, early on, they made some plays against the run, but the thing is about the run, if your offense isn't scoring and they're going to keep being on the field, your guys are going to get worn down. I saw them rotating guys, and when you rotate the lesser guys, you're going to give a few more yards here, a few more yards there. Then you get the penalty on the first drive, and once they got to 7-0, I was like, here it is. I said, this is the only recipe to lose, was to fall behind so that the defense has to sit there and absolutely has to place the run and the pass evenly. When the Cowboys won at home, they got teams chasing them, or it's a shootout. Like the Detroit game could have been a shootout.
Turnovers.
I just got one more thing to say.
How about them Cowboys indeed?
Jimmy Johnson, he was upset during that halftime when he was giving his passionate speech. But Dante, you brought up the point about the undersized linebackers, because they literally have safety playing linebacker.
Mm-hmm. And I love Marquise Bell.
Leighton Vander
they got him playing in an impossible position.
Yeah, he's 205 pounds. So if you put they just be pulling offensive linemen and just literally take them out the play. It started because a lot of teams because the Cowboys offense they are quick hitters. So a lot of teams trying to keep up. And it started when that Buffalo game, when they say, man, damn, the passing, we going to destroy you with the run. They got like over 300 yards rushing. Even Miami, they had a little success against Miami's run game because we thought it was going to be a repeat with them. But you started noticing teams really started focusing on running the ball more. And it basically, besides that last game with Washington, because that team pretty much gave up when they
quit
that game. Yeah, that you could scratch that game off. But I was looking at the Cowboys sack amount as the season went. They had these high sack games against teams like I say, Washington, fellow NFC East teams. But it was a stretch about 5 or 6 games. They only had 1 sack, and it really shown after that Buffalo game because a lot of teams started being more committed to the run, and it pretty much. I don't want to say eliminated, but it made them boys, it damn near eliminated the pass rush. Because now they're so focused on the run, they can't rush the quarterback. And you have these undersized, that LVE, that Leighton Vander Esch injury hurt them bad.
That was huge.
Oh, man, because you got these dudes.
And the Overshawn injury early on, like it's kind of like.
He was in camp.
I'll say the Overshawn injury started first, then you got the Diggs injury, and it's just like eventually I understand Dan Quinn was dealing with limited, but the game plan I saw with those soft zones, that when you're a man team,
had a chance.
I just didn't
to pick up.
I just didn't agree with that. I didn't agree with that. But I'll say this about Shaq Leonard, and I heard this when it came out, when it happened. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted him as a player, even if he's not the same version of himself that he was. But even a player like him, that even if he could have dug into some of what he used to be, I don't even think that was going to help this team. It was an unfortunate situation with the injuries, but Dan Quinn, you still kind of set this mold by doing this earlier, wanting those hybrid type of players, so that those kind of things come back to get you. What I say about like those fans that's got super emotional, get rid of this person, get rid of that. Like, yeah, I do want to I felt like this. I didn't come into the game thinking like anything. People are like, I was like, yeah, I'm confident. I felt like, hey, the disappointment, the opportunity for disappointment was coming in the next round. We cannot win in the divisional. We cannot win in the divisional round. But it came around early.
I'll say this, fellas. Now, y'all can agree or not. We saw the making of another young superstar quarterback in Jordan Love. Jordan Love looked control of that game out there. If he played anything like that, if he played anything close to what he did on Dallas going forward, up here in Green Bay gonna be something to deal with in the NFC.
He's gonna be something. But when you said a young quarterback, I thought you was going. Or we're gonna get into that later. I thought you was about to say C.J. Stroud, because that's who really impressed me.
Well, no, you know the interesting thing about that, C.J. Stroud and Jordan numbers in those two games are identical. I think Stroud had less than 10 more yards passing, but they had like the same passing. I think they had the same completion percentage as far as completions and attempts, same touchdowns, no picks. And so that was interesting. One is a rookie. One is a true rookie, and you can Jordan Love, because it's basically his first year. But his 4th year in the league, his 3rd or 4th year in the league, because he just was sitting. So, but I see Clement, he making some points on the comments, and I go back to that overconfident. I don't know if the Cowboys were overconfident, but like Dante said, I believe they was definitely underprepared. And Dan Quinn, which I heard, he has a tendency he could be stubborn. Majority of the year, the Cowboys played man. That's their strength, play man. He played zone for whatever reason this game. It immediately backfired on him, but he stayed in it. And it kept back. He wouldn't get out. He wouldn't get out of it. And they were destroying him in the zone.
And he struggles against a certain coordinators. Like he struggles against LaFleur. They come from that Shanahan tree. They coached under him because they were all on the same staff. So you've seen this up and close. I understand trying to go different, but you needed to change things. You need to have kind of mix and match. I mean, for what I care for, I think Gilmore should have been in man coverage. If he can be his own, let the other corners be in man coverage.
I heard that about Gilmore
and kind of match up, but it was pathetic. No matter how you slice it was pathetic. And I can understand. I can understand like the fans being upset, but it's like you got to look at things realistically. I would love for McCarthy to be gone and go and get. I don't even want the Belichick. I want the young offensive mind. I want the guy where, okay, I can go see him as a coordinator and I can get some film on him. But overall, as a head coach, that's different. So you as a coach, Trey, when you got a guy that you have to go and look into stuff and you've never seen him as a head coach, is that now a little bit more difficult for you? Where it's just like, okay, it's a little bit of an unknown as far as what he's going to give you. I want something fresh and new, not basically even Bill Belichick. Even in the fact as great as he is a retread. He is a guy that just went 4-13. I forgot what the record was before that. And I think he had the 1 year right after time left where he made the playoffs. And I know it's about production from the quarterback, and that's how good your team is. But he just hasn't inspired anything. He's going to handle the defense, which I would be great with. I don't want my offense to struggle. He's picking offensive coaches that used to be defensive guys. I would like a new coach, but that's not the real situation. I know Dak is coming back. And it's one of those things. Football is so tough. Every other sport, well, basketball and baseball, you get the 7-game series. I'm not willing to get rid of a guy that's a second team All-Pro, although this is his peak. I think this is his career best, but he hasn't peaked out in the playoffs, and I think hopefully he can play better. But for the most part, like Johnny said, you just got to go back and they're going to win 10, 11 games, 12 games or whatever, and see how they do in the postseason. So,
fellas, it's easy to see the dynamic with Dallas. Like you said, Dan Quinn, they all come up under the same system. Why would a coach that's got your bread and butter, why would you switch it up and play something your team ain't played all season? I mean, that's part of the machine of the NFL. That's part of the machine. Why would he not do that? If you looking at it like, okay, I'm winning with this right here. Gilmore, his specialty is man. That's why he's the man guy. But then Dallas, Jerry Jones don't want to spend no money on nobody on defense. They got Parsons, but he's just coming out his rookie deal. Is he still in his rookie deal?
They don't spend no money on free.
Yeah, he's in his rookie deal. Well, we can't say not spending anything.
No.
Just got a corner and extension.
Listen, he's a pass rusher. Dallas ain't really had no linebackers, man. They let Jalen Smith go, and he was even small. They like Vander Esch, but he's too fragile. He ain't really played the whole season. I don't know since he been in the league, whatever. But you got to look at Dallas need to get some good, strong defensive backs. Not no defensive. They good when your boy come back. They'll be all right. Keep the other defensive back they got.
Diggs.
Yeah, keep him. Keep Diggs. He's coming back. And Gilmore. Keep Gilmore. Get some nice bulk linebackers. Some big, some dudes that can fill a hole. Let Parsons get a bookend defensive end. Defense is straight. You need 3 players. Defensively is good. Dallas need a running back. They need a running back.
Bad.
Get rid of the defensive coordinator. These are old boys. They need to go. All of them. Dan Quinn, Belichick retired, man. Let some of these young brothers get out here and you'll see a different brand of football.
I wouldn't mind seeing what's the name as a defensive coordinator candidate if we're gonna keep in house. I wouldn't mind Al Harris getting a chance. I would not mind him getting a chance.
I'd say, that's damn these Cowboys. They don't deserve to get talked about. So I'm looking at this some big upsets. Well, one upset and one you saw it coming based on how this team. See, the I told them I wasn't going to talk about them no more, but the Cowboys was a big loss, but that's basically an any given Sunday loss. Because a lot of people didn't see them losing like that, and because they was playing at home, a lot of people picked them to win that game. The other team, you saw, they've been spiraling for like over the past month, and that's the Philadelphia
6 weeks.
Eagles. That's why a lot of people picked the Bucks. So that loss to me was not surprising because it was basically the final point of what you saw the past month. Now, the other side, the Texans beating Cleveland, I believe Cleveland was promoted so much by the media because of the awesome defense. But one huge thing, because you heard it about the Cowboys and their lack of success on the road.
The Browns defense didn't travel.
Defense,
travel.
The Browns defense at home was allowing teams just under 14 points a game. On the road, teams were scoring over 31. But you didn't hear that. You always kept hearing how great this Cleveland defense is. Well, Houston exposed that. I don't even say exposed. They lived up true to what Cleveland has been. But it was still an excellent game. Stroud showed out. Laramie Tunsil, it was a matchup between Laramie Tunsil and Myles Garrett. He got that boy for 0 sacks. Zero sacks. Yeah, they were that. So they just damn near dominated Cleveland.
They dominated. And then the thing is, and I want to bring this up because it's something. Sometimes we focus on this too much. Everybody was like, Flacco around and find out. Well, yeah, they did. And the thing is, the reason why he was on the street is because if you look at his turnovers, he had a lot of turnovers. And he came in this game and it's Tolo's back-to-back pick sixes. I was like, wow. I said, so you just go. I said, that's crazy. And I was just like, wow, that really happened. He just gave him a gift like that. And so, like, for everybody, like, but man, I see you picked the Texans. The Texans are a really good story and a good young team. But I don't think they got enough for what they about to see when they go rolling the ball.
Oh yeah, I was gonna get that.
That's gonna be a little. That's an interesting game right there. Right there. I was talking about it earlier. It's sort of up in the air right now because
talking about the Texans Ravens.
Yeah, the Texans Ravens game is. The Texans are playing. The Texans are playing motivated football. The Ravens, listen, Lamar Jackson be almost 3 weeks before he do a game time football. It's almost 3 weeks, and that throws your timing off. Baltimore, they've been rolling all season. They finished with the best team in the league, the most wins. So to take 3 weeks off when it changes, it's like going on a mini camp break or something. It changes the dynamic and late in the season because Baltimore ain't really had no injuries. Everybody's been playing good ball. And Texans, they're playing motivated football. Whole team is in on it. And the second, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna be the key for the game. It's gonna be the Texans secondary. If they can get to Lamar in the secondary as far as get some deflections, interceptions, and hold him to a whoever spying on him, keep him inside that pocket, because once he start running the ball, it's over. But if they can just control that, they got a good shot. And it's going to be Baltimore's defense going to have to display everybody.
And that's the point I was looking at. I was looking at Baltimore's defense. See, the Texans, like midway through the season, we lost Tank Dell. That was a huge blow because him and Stroud was creating this combo between the two of them. They were starting to be like excellent scramble, plays and stuff like that. And then just after the Browns game, Brown, he's out. So now we lost another receiver. So now it's just he's been playing excellent, Nico Collins. But when you're going against a team like Baltimore, you need all the weapons you can get. That defense is legit. I know people were trying to talk about the point I just brought up about Cleveland defense, how the Texans, I'm like, yeah, but Cleveland's defense is Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, home and away. Baltimore's defense, well, even though they're playing at Baltimore, they come. They can play at Baltimore on the road. You're going to see that defense, and you're going to need your weapons to defeat that defense. Plus, on the other side, Baltimore is getting back Mark Andrews.
I heard he might not come back into the AFC Championship.
Well, they probably can't afford that because Lively, he's just been coming and just pretty much taking over where Andrews left off. So it's going to be a big challenge for the Texans. I wish they had some more offensive weapons that can really make it because they played each other the first game of the season. A lot of stuff changed since then. And, but with Mr. Bennett, what's up, man?
What's good?
What's up, brother Bennett?
Hey.
We already talked about that disaster of the Cowboys and how good Jordan Love was looking.
So Shawnee, I will ask you again. Are you feeling the love?
Love looked great in that game. But the main thing I keep looking because as a quarterback he definitely took advantage of it. the fact that the receivers was as wide open as they were, I'm like,
that was embarrassing.
What the hell a defender? That's great. I mean, Love over here completing passes. I don't know how much he was completing passes off his back foot. But he was just throwing it up, and then when the receiver caught the ball, it was no defender in sight. And I was like, damn, y'all chose the worst day to have this type of defensive performance. Love was picking them apart, but the way, and I say this, Green Bay's offense, Romeo Doubs has never had 100-game receiving yard in his career. Right. He gets one against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones only had 2 rushing touchdowns the whole season. He gets 3 against the Cowboys. And y'all just chose the worst day to have this performance. But all credit to Jordan Love. He outplayed Dak. Dak ended up over 400 yards, but like Shannon Sharpe said, that was empty calories. You know.
Yeah.
But I mentioned, though, the Jordan Love's numbers were damn near identical to C.J. Stroud's numbers when he played against the Browns. Except I think Stroud maybe had like less than 10 more yards passing, but a lot of other stuff was damn near identical. So both young bucks showed up, in their first playoff game. So that's good. I hope that they both continue on that path. So it'll be interesting to see, as the years to come, especially with them 2 young QBs.
Well, look, I mean, just looking at the landscape of the NFL, I mean, if these guys can continue to show this kind of success, I mean, you already have, Jackson, you have, Kansas City quarterback, you have, these 2 gentlemen, even though Hurts and the Eagles, they fell off, for several weeks now, but still, he's still a top. I would still put him in the top 10 quarterbacks in the league at this point. So just if you want to talk about just the elevation of the black quarterback in the NFL at this point, it's definitely the future's looking bright. You're looking at arguably the number 1 draft pick coming out is going to be the quarterback out of USC. So, I mean, you could certainly have a renaissance in the NFL of the black quarterback and may get to a point where we may not have to mention anymore. But, it's definitely looking very promising right now. Just looking at the young talent that's coming up, even Mahomes, I don't think Mahomes is 30 or he's still under 30 years old, correct?
I think he's still under 30. I think no older than 30.
Yeah. So he's still in the prime of his career, and he's still in the playoffs. So you certainly have a lot of potential for these guys to really shape the league. And but I saw Jordan Love. I know I'll get on you, Shawnee, but I saw it when they played Pittsburgh early, and we barely beat them. But I was with a friend of mine. He's a diehard Green Bay Packers fan, and he's still lamenting the loss of Rodgers. But I told him right then, I think you got your guy. So I just saw he just had the moxie, he just had it, and I just knew right then and there that he's going to be, you put some weapons around this kid, and he's going to be, pretty formidable in the league. And so I just knew that just from that first game watching them, because some guys you just tell that they got it, and I think he does. And so I'm wishing those guys the best down the stretch.
You know what? I find it ironic. In the past, especially with black quarterbacks, they try so hard to take them out of the quarterback position and put them somewhere else.
Right.
Now, today's time, they damn near looking out. I mean, the pocket quarterbacks are still, there's still a need for pocket quarterbacks, of course, if you got the line that protect.
Yeah, it's the statues that can't.
Yeah, the ability that the mobile quarterback teams are looking for that now. Yeah. It's just like they thirsted for that.
Right.
Something that they tried to shun away from or try to demean in the past. They looking for that one. So
right.
Just find out how I guess history kind of rewritten itself on that moment.
No, it ain't rewriting itself. It's writing new history.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
It's writing that new history because remember that old style was staying in the pocket, dance, swim. But now you see the elevation.
The new coaches we were talking about earlier, they the ones who really,
Yeah, they the ones that leading the way with that. Because a guy like Josh Allen in the past, they would have just. Man, there was no way.
Lamar Jackson is a perfect example. Lamar Jackson.
2024, the year of the brother takeover. Not just in sports, we're taking over the world. This is 2024. We thrive in all Indian years. We thrive. This is us.
I am feeling that. But before we move on, speaking about the black quarterback, I do, and again, I don't know, do we plan to go over every game? We just, because I know you said
we can, because we just touched between the Texans and Browns,
right,
and the Eagles and the Bucks.
Right. I did want to go back to the Bucks if I can, just real quick. Can we kind of say, I won't call it comeback player of the year, but can we say that Baker Mayfield, I mean, considering where he was 2 years ago and where he is now, I mean, this should have been what Johnny Manziel was supposed to be. But, I got to give, and I've never been a big fan of Baker Mayfield. Certainly a lot of his off the court stuff that nobody, everyone just swept under the rug, his sort of bad boy image when he was at Oklahoma and everything. But, I got to give it to him, for a guy who I thought was overhyped in Cleveland, and he got all the car insurance commercials and all that kind of stuff. And, thought he was going to basically be a journeyman quarterback. He certainly found a niche in Tampa. And I think just in recent history, I think it certainly should be considered as one of the great comeback stories that he's been able to, shepherd this team, get a playoff, even though the Eagles are struggling. But I gotta give him credit. I did not think that I would see Baker Mayfield on this stage again. So I got to give him his props for keeping his head down and doing the work.
I think he was brought in to Tampa to be a bridge quarterback.
Right.
He's been messing around and get some type of small extension, at least 2 years.
He was supposed to be the bridge and kind of come in and get some snaps. And then I know they still drafted Kyle Trask, but basically I kind of knew what I always thought of him. Is like at the pro level, he's not really going to cut it. To be honest, I got to give them their credit. I thought that division was tailor-made for the Saints to win, with Derek Carr coming there, pretty good quarterback, and with all the talent that team has. And I want to say, even with Alvin Kamara missing those games, with them still having Jamal Williams, who absolutely just didn't really have it like he had in Detroit or Green Bay. Like he's a good running back.
Yeah.
And but for them to win that game, it wasn't a surprise, but just the fact that Baker was a surprise. And he was a guy that just came on, and now he's going to get an extension. Like they said, with getting Tom Brady, they had so much salary cap, dead money. They got him for the cheap. Now they're going to have to pony up to keep him. And, I feel like, I don't know. I think as far as it's a lesson, like he said, he was the number one pick. He got the commercials and all of that stuff came with it. But now that he's kind of been out the limelight a little bit and kind of been kicked around, like they said, him being himself, they said on the broadcast when he went out to LA, Sean McVay was like, just be yourself, cut the, the night, just be yourself. And that is working for him. He was banged up, but they still, came out. I mean, the game was 16-9 at halftime, and they just turned up on him.
Yeah.
I think, Brother Bennett, like you said, based on what he was able to accomplish in his time at Tampa Bay, I can see him getting comeback player of the year.
I mean, that's
I can see that. But I still,
I thought Flacco was going to get that.
Yeah, but Flacco.
Well, no.
Flacco qualified for the game, so he only played like 4 games, maybe 3 or 4 games.
I thought there was like 5 games he played, but
Flacco and Mayfield, performance-wise, I believe one of them deserve it. But that award is going to go to DeMar Hamlin for feel-good reasons.
Yeah.
Even though the dude, he didn't play a lot of games this year, but he played some, so that award going to go to him.
Hey, man, anytime you come back from where he was, man, give him 2 or 3.
It's a feel-good story for him, so by default,
feel-good, and NFL,
it's not going to be based on production on the field.
Yeah, they bid on that.
Flacco had played in 5 games this year. So I don't know if that's enough to qualify for a comeback.
Yeah, if Baker win again, then and Baker's a player's quarterback too. Players like Baker Mayfield. He just got the big head, but if he can win again, they have to re-sign him. And I'll draft somebody. I'll go get some defense or some linemen, man. I wouldn't even get a quarterback. I'll let that other quarterback go and get a second rounder coming out, man. Because Baker, like I said, he ain't really played good 2 or 3 games in a row, so it's gonna be interesting.
But speaking of the Bucks, I don't know if y'all heard, there was a clip it was some lady reporter. She was asking Todd Bowles a question about, okay, how we see in these recent games where the weather is real cold, and have you, how did you get to your team and train, prepare for this cold weather in Detroit? And Bowles was like, well, you do know Detroit play in the stadium, so I don't plan on being. We don't plan on being in the cold. Maybe the 20 seconds we get off the bus and walk in the stadium. I was like, I don't know who told that lady to ask that question, but I'm like, well, damn.
You just said that to
you got to be prepared. You got to.
She out of her league. As a little show, women be out of their league when they come into the men's.
I'm just saying. You just said.
That's the word. That's the word.
Email reports been trying for a long time to get in the room.
That's the word of Trey. I'm not getting into that one.
No.
No.
You ain't going to no. You ain't going into the WNBA locker room talking about. Yes, man. I ask you this question. They be like, get out of here. No, that's what it is.
Nah.
Well, so people go find.
We got those out the way. What is? Let me see.
Talk about the Ravens. Talk about the Ravens.
I want to talk about the Ravens. I want to talk about the Rams.
Okay, I was gonna say, just put me out my misery. We can talk about the Steelers Bills games.
I was like, man, look, we had a lot of doom and gloom to start the show. I was pushing that off as long as possible.
No. I stand on my square. I came out. Yes, I was talking a lot of smack. I was offended by the 10-point spread, and they won obviously by 17. Credit to the Bills. I don't think there was no conspiracy. A lot of Yinzers was talking about this conspiracy with the moving the game and all that kind of stuff. No one would have. It would have been inhuman to play those conditions on Sunday. Yeah, so it was crazy. I saw some live footage, and it was crazy out there. I was actually surprised that they still got as many people into the stadium, because like early in the day they showed a shot of the stadium, and still all the seats were still covered with snow. So the fact that they were moved to get those seats clear is a credit to them. But now, I mean, they were just outgunned us. Buffalo is very hot right now, and the quad Josh is playing at a very high level. I mean, again, that Ravens game, I'm not, they better watch themselves. It would not surprise me at all if Buffalo beats the Ravens, especially coming out. I think, as you said earlier, Trey, that Jackson's come off basically 3 weeks without playing. So,
but Buffalo got to
worry about Kansas City first. They better worry about
their favorite team to play.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. But again, any of them, I think Buffalo's alive, a live cat right now, and I think they can certainly beat anybody the way they've been playing as of late. My hopes were up when we got to 24-17. All I was saying is, please, defense, just get a stop. But I think this is where you miss T.J. Watts, and in that situation, they couldn't stop him to come down. Once they scored that touchdown, went up 30-17. I was like, yeah, this is done. So again, a bit undermanned. That's just interesting news. I think news came out yesterday. Looks like Tomlin is staying. He's still in his last year of his contract. So the question is, are they going to offer him an extension, or are they going to play this one out, or are they going to put conditions on that next contract? Because definitely, I think they're going to have to upgrade and get a major offensive coordinator. If it be Eric Bieniemy or someone of that caliber. To come in, but he needs to get a big time guy and share the limelight with another guy. But he did have a meeting with his players, I think on Tuesday, so he told them that he's coming back, and a lot of at least the veterans, they're happy with it. A lot of Steeler Nation isn't necessarily happy with it. It's like 50-50. They would like
the thing that always gets me.
But it looks like he will definitely be there for the 2024 season. What happens after that is really going to depend, especially with the Roonies. They're saying they may come out with a contract extension sometime around the draft if they decide to do that, or let him play the contract out. But it looks like the 2024 he will be back for his 18th season with the Steelers.
I think if it was up to the Roonies, he'll be there, for the next years to come. Well, I think if he decides to leave Pittsburgh, it'll be Tomlin.
Yeah, but I was, the going back to Dallas, how many 12-4 seasons they've had over the last 3 or 4 years?
We had 3 straight 12-5 seasons.
3 still 12-5 seasons, and it's more than likely that Jerry's probably going to clean house there. So
right before the show, they said McCarthy coming back. Unfortunately, right before we got
really? Oh wow.
And I guarantee, and check this out: if we could have a scenario where we can switch coaches Dallas will win the Super Bowl with Tomlin all day. Tomlin, let Pittsburgh let him go. Wherever he go, he gonna instantly turn the team into a winner, and people gonna be sad.
It's what it is, and I wish coaching trades would happen more, or trading a coach for some compensation. It's a simple fact that we've mentioned it before. Your message can get tired. Like you're one tired, and I want to say I didn't just love everything about Parcells, but one thing that he said, he was just like, "Look, I gotta win and I can only be for a short time because I'm gonna grind on guys, and it's gonna get worn out, and then you come back if you get the grinding coach, and then you get the easier coach, and it's like that you gotta have that balance of the right coach that's gonna be able to make it work, and I think Tomlin is that.
Yeah. Do y'all understand the greatness of Tomlin? What he's been able to do this past year? He took. Listen, hold on, brother Manny. Mm-hmm. He took 3 mediocre quarterbacks and made the playoffs with all 3 of them still on the roster. 3 quarterbacks. Ain't none of those quarterbacks got a. He's been winning with losing records going to the play, and he ain't never had a losing season. Just think how great that is, and he got a Super Bowl.
That's the thing. If he could get a legitimate quarterback, if he just all he needs is a legitimate quarterback.
Here's now again. Now look, I've been a Steelers fan since 1978. Okay, so I go all the way back with them, pretty much. So again, I understand it, but you got to understand, for the majority of his career, he had a Hall of Fame quarterback. And again, since their Super Bowl appearance, not win, their Super Bowl appearance in 2010, they only have 2 playoff victories. The majority of those were with Big Ben. Remember, they had the killer bees with Ben, Brown, and Bell. That offense was elite, and they got eliminated by Jacksonville in the divisional round. They got beat by Tim Tebow. They lost to him in the playoffs. So again, for everything, for his consistency and all those things are great. But again, the playoff record, the fact that they oftentimes underperform against losing teams. I remember one year, a few years, they lost to the Lions when the Lions were a 1-15 team that year. Their only win was against the Steelers at home. So he has a tendency oftentimes to underperform against teams he should beat and then be very competitive against teams that they shouldn't beat. So again, there's that over time is something that I could certainly see any other ownership group but the Rooneys wanting to move away from that, to say that, look, has he hit his ceiling and can he go any further than what he has? And keep in mind, the players that he won with, those were with the last coach. Again, that was Cowher who drafted Big Ben, and a lot of those players, certainly for the first Super Bowl victory. Again, they got there the second time, and they lost it. So again, the record is good. It's very good, but is it great? Is it elite? I'm not sure. If you were to say today, the fact that you got guys like Mike Shanahan, who's got 2 Super Bowl victories, is not in the Hall of Fame. Some people may argue that certainly Mike T's not a Hall of Famer, certainly not on the first ballot. It may take him several cycles before he gets in there if he were to retire today. So I think he has a very good record overall, but I have to be fair about his performance, especially barely getting your teams in the playoffs, losing at home in the playoffs. Those are things that, for some organizations, they wouldn't tolerate. So he's fortunate to be working for an organization like the Rooneys, because, again, if that was Jerry or someone else, he might have been gone a long time ago. So I just want to be balanced about that. I love him.
That's it. You make a fair point.
We got to call those things out.
You make a fair point. The fact of the lack of playoff success, and I will be honest, says this. We know. Let's speak about the elephant in the room. Since it's so hard for black coaches, we do. I know I put a blind eye past the playoff success. But you as a Steelers fan, you can remember. I remember that game where Jacksonville went in there and had that surprise. So I was like, nah, you make a valid point. That's honesty.
Well, the Tebow game is the one. Someone just Clement Gray just put in the comments. The Tebow game, it took me a long time to get over that one, because Tebow that year was like he would be like 9 of 20 passing.
Yeah, one pass and he threw that slant. He threw that slant to Demarius Thomas, RIP, and he just took, and it was just like and that's one of those things. That play right there in the Tim Tebow era is the quintessential reason why you can't look at quarterback wins as a stat. Better yet, name the 3 quarterbacks for the Steelers this year. That's the reason why the coaching can get the win and credit as a stat, but the player, nah, just like everybody's favorite reason to feel that Josh Allen is just as good or better than Mahomes is that game that he lost where Pat got the ball late and made a play. And so it's just one of those deals where you can't give that. You have to give that to team credit. Alexis from Texas, I appreciate you. Like you said, everybody can't have a Mahomes, and that's what a lot of teams do. That's what Cowboys fans are bad at right now. You want a Mahomes, but it's like, damn, if you go and chase a Mahomes, you could go get Caleb Williams, and that guy can come out and be a huge bust. And that's one of those things where it's just like it's so tough to find the right guy. That's why teams don't like to move off of quarterbacks that are good. Like, to be honest, Goff was dead in the water. Now look at him. Like, he just got a playoff victory, and it's just like somebody said it. I want to say it was Robert Littell said it for Black Sports Online. He was just like, with no pressure, Jared Goff is Joe Montana. He was like, with pressure, he's Jim Druckenmiller. And it's just like, and that's how it goes. And for them to come in those drives in that game they had and just field goal, it felt like they was begging to lose that game. Right. They were begging, but to be honest, they may not have should have let Matthew Stafford back in the game. He like those injuries they were having, they can say what they want. We all know the truth. When it comes to playoff time and guys get certain injuries, if they can walk and they can go back in the game and play. That's just exactly what's going on there. And it's just like he was banged up. You could tell he was just laboring, and it was just like, which was crazy for them to say. They were like, man, he's laid on this roof and looked up at the top of this stadium a lot in his time here. He's like, and it's just like happened again. I was glad. I hated the storyline of him coming in there and winning that game. I'm happy, even in my Cowboy misery, I could be really happy for Detroit. I thought that Dan Campbell, that first press conference, bite the kneecaps off, I thought he was a complete idiot, and I was just like, it's not gonna last long. And like I mentioned before, he's going around. He's got black assistants on his staff. Even though Aaron Glenn's defense has been leaky, but he's got these assistants. I want to say his offensive coordinator Ben Johnson is going to be on a short list to get a job. So it's just like I say kudos to them, and I'm hoping they do well. I do think that they can. They're gonna play Buccaneers. I think they can beat them, especially at home. And then they have a chance to go to the NFC Championship. I know that fan base, Lions fans, they're loyal, and I know they're gonna be really excited for that. But it was good to see them get that victory.
Yeah.
Speaking of that Lions Rams games, locally here in DFW, the game was showing on NBC. So if you remember, that game was it was a very close game, and it was still like the balance of the last 2 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, NBC here switched all of a sudden because recently we just had like a below freezing spell come in this past weekend, so it was cold down here. We already knew it was cold. Basically, we watching this game, seeing if the Rams would come back or whatnot, and all of a sudden the game just immediately switched to this damn newscaster just pointing at the map talking about it's cold, and it for like it literally lasts a whole 2 minutes.
They last basically when they cut back to the game. They were showing the Lions celebrating and doing the whole, they was talking to Stafford and stuff, and it was like, but my thing is, situations like that, you gotta have streaming. I'm ready. I'll stream in a minute. As soon as they put, I was like, don't worry about it. But actually, by the way I see the end of the game, I was like, let me get my streaming up, and then by the time I got it going, I want to say they switched it back, and so it was just like the game was over. But if they would, I think somebody must have known football a little bit and was just like, more than likely they're gonna run this, so we're gonna pull it. But I think if it was a closer game, especially as much as we love football here, I don't think they switched that game. I don't think they switched that one out.
It was a close game because
it was, but they were like they needed to get a stop, and they didn't have almost any timeouts. Because they would have had like 3-4 timeouts. I think, and wouldn't have been able to just. I think if we would have like, hey, it's 3rd and 8, and if they get the stop, they get the ball back. I don't think they go. I don't think they cut it.
I'm glad I don't got TV in Texas, man, because man, after the Cowboys lost, they don't care about it. They like, man, we ain't want to do football.
They just said hell with everybody.
We're gonna turn it over on fishing. That's unique that they have.
Yeah, they just said hell with everybody, man.
But the weather's changed all over the country, fellas, man. It was snow and ice and cold, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Almost New Mexico to New York, man. And all everybody got it. So just buckle in, man. You know, it's winter time. Look, as they say, winter is here. Winter is here.
16. It was 16 degrees this morning. I'm like,
yes, sir. That's good football weather.
This is not normal.
It's a good football weather. That's a good football weather.
Man, we've been having stew and chili and all of that. Ready for that, but so I think we made it through all the wild card games, right?
Well, did we talk? You guys talk about Kansas City, Miami? I mean, I don't think there's a lot
that's the only one.
No, we didn't talk about that one.
It wasn't. Cold weather, warm weather team going to those conditions. I mean, I think that might have been the coldest game. I think it was like -5 or -7 at game time or something like that. So
they said fans got hypothermia. Like I know one of the guys with hypothermia was the guy with his shirt off. I know it was that guy.
Those guys been in Kansas City all their life, man. They do it. They get filled up with that good oil and they go out there for a little 4 hours. Now, like Brother Lynn said, you can't take a Hawaii boy up in that cold weather, man, and them pretty Miami colors and stuff, man. And you ain't going in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes at home. We still forget he is the MVP and the Super Bowl champion. We can't forget Kansas City.
And that's why I want to see how this goes with Buffalo being the favorite coming into this game. And let's just the elephant in the room. There's certain people for certain reasons that want Josh Allen to win, other than him just being a good quarterback, and other than just not liking the Chiefs. And I hate that dynamic to it. I hope we can block and avoid that dynamic and just look at it. Which team is going to win a big playoff game? Because Patrick Mahomes has never played a road playoff game, and it's just like I know he can get it done. It's just that it's basically can they find a way to get Travis Kelce involved? We know that the receivers aren't very strong, but he can't be dropping passes. He's got to get the chase. He's got to get the shot.
I'm looking at the comments. I see Alexis. He's like, what do you mean we don't talk about it? It's no. It
was a foregone conclusion. I was going to win that game.
The Chiefs. Basically, they showed up in that game. It was more to the point of Miami. You already knew they go to the cold weather. You might as well say, okay, y'all might as well just stay back in Miami because y'all ain't gonna be able to operate.
Y'all ain't gonna operate.
And Miami did this to themselves because they could have been if they would have won that game versus Buffalo.
But again, they were like the Eagles. They
were the back door to play Buffalo.
Yeah, I think they were on the downslope. They weren't. Buffalo right now has all the momentum. I think in these playoffs, and I think they're definitely ascending. So if this is the year that Allen gets it, it won't surprise me if it does. But just really quick, I wanted to go back to the Baltimore Houston game. Did you guys, speaking of the elements, did you guys talk about the potential elements for that game? Again, a dome team in Houston going to Baltimore, and I don't know what the weather forecast is, but you think that could have some impact on the game?
Yeah, I was speaking about it because Houston has some key injuries. Because I was going against that Baltimore defense, you need all the weapons you can get, and they already lose. They already have 2 receivers that's out this game. So
I'm just adding the weather element to it.
I gotta look at it because I don't.
It's gonna be 24 degrees as the high Saturday, and they're playing that game in the afternoon.
Well, remember Stroud? He played in Ohio State, so he's familiar with it.
Stroud did. I want to say, but some of your other players are.
Singletary was in Buffalo for a little bit. So
Singletary was in Buffalo. So I think if it's as it sells, where it's gonna be 24 degrees and sunny. Then it's just going to be really cold, and it's not going to be in the elements. I don't see anything when I'm looking over to see the wind. But I will say it is a 70% chance of snow on that Friday. So, so it's one of those. I don't think it'll be too much. But I mean, Singletary, he really showed me this year. I ain't gonna lie, he's disappointed me sometimes in the past, taking him in fantasy. But man, this year he really picked it up. And now Pierce, he's just kind of faded to the background. If they, so he's a good player as well. But I think it's tough to play Baltimore and say, hey, we need to lean on the running game. But so they don't put so much pressure on young Stroud. I would say they need to do that, but I don't see them being able to come out of that game with the win. And I will say this. Even though Baltimore might be rusty, I don't see the defense coming out as rusty. If anything, I see the offense coming out as rusty. But I do think that maybe Lamar might not be able to hit with his receivers. But I do think if they can get they can get Gus going, man. If they can get him going, running the football, and obviously guys like Likely, if he can make a few plays, and really the young receiver, his name is slipping my mind right now.
Flowers.
Flowers. If they can get Flowers going, and I would say I'm coming out, we're running the ball, and I'm throwing them some bubble screens. I'm giving him something quick, get the ball in his hand, and try to make some plays and just get comfortable. I felt like the confidence on the defensive side, especially if they got. I looked at the injury reports. I didn't see anything, but I know teams can be. They have to put it out there, especially with the gambling element now. But if they have Kyle Hamilton, that's a major piece to them, and that's somebody that's going to get in the mix and try to slow down a guy like Dalton Schultz, who's come up big for CJ Stroud. So I feel like that one is there. And what's terrible about the picks we making now? I went 5-1 on my picks last week, and of course we know the only one I missed. Ain't that something?
The one that counts, right?
The one, yeah. All the weather went 1-5.
I think the team that makes the least mistakes in this game will win the game. I give the edge to Baltimore just because they've proven that they can dominate good teams, especially late in the season. I just hope they're able to keep their mojo. But in this game, Texas has been playing some of the best football in the whole second half of the season. It's going to come down to the team that make the most mistakes who will lose the game. I think Baltimore by I go crazy. I might go 4 or something. It ain't going to be no whole lot because it's going to be a game. It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
I believe it's going to be a good game.
Hold on. I see Alexis with Texas in the chat. We give the Chiefs a lot of love, but I will say this: that I want to say was it Snead or with Duffy, whoever pressed him, and he had Tyreek Hill. I don't never see him get jammed up like that. And he even retweeted. He was like, "Man, they jam me up to Cancun." Like even he had to acknowledge it's like, and I respect players of just being like, "Look, you got the best of me." I don't like it when these guys, have to go back and forth all the time. Just, hey, you got the best of you, take your L, go on vacation. But I actually think y'all can win that. I think Kansas City can win that game. It's just I don't have enough confidence. I have enough confidence in the quarterback. I have enough confidence in the defense. But even that defense if the offense isn't making enough plays, eventually Diggs is going to go off. Eventually Gabe Davis is going to get something going. And then they have 2 tight ends with Dawson Knox. And then with I forgot the kid they drafted. I forgot his name, but he's a really I want to say from Dalton Kincaid from Utah. So I think that's just too many weapons on the other side. As much as I think Mahomes is the best QB in the league, and even in a down year, he's in the divisional round with. And I do think it's going to be a game. It's going to be a game late that Buffalo's going to need to pull out late. Yeah, that's the thing. The most dependable weapon you got. I can't depend on him. He's having a down year, and that's the one reason I can't pick Kansas City to win that one. It's the only reason why. And because I thought going in they was at minimum the AFC Championship game.
I think if Kelsey comes back to form, he's had a lot going on. He's been in a circus all football season. Him and old Taylor, they've been in a circus. But I think if he come back to playoff football, I think the offenses match up evenly because. And it's going Kansas City's young receivers going to have to step it up. Buffalo, we know what their receivers can do when Josh Allen is throwing the ball around. The quarterbacks, I give the edge to Mahomes just because he has proven that what he's able to do over the last 3 or 4 years. I think the defenses, I feel like Kansas City's defense got the edge just because Buffalo. But I think Buffalo's defense, is Von Miller still playing? He's playing, right?
Yeah.
He's not playing right now.
No.
He kind of his play had dropped off, and he
No,
got
but
into a domestic violence situation.
But
And
he's
so
not play. He didn't play in the last game.
I thought he did. I thought it.
I could have
he
sworn I
may
saw
have,
him.
but I know he hadn't been playing the last few weeks.
The defense looked a little focused. I think Buffalo's defense, if Von Miller's playing, I think they got the edge. But if he's not, I'll give Kansas City's defense the edge. It's gonna be a close game.
It's gonna be a close one.
I would say if Buffalo's hot like they've been playing, Buffalo by 3. It ain't gonna be no blowout because Kansas City with Mahomes back, Kelsey's on, and them young receivers catch that ball. Kansas City got a chance. So and they both cold weather teams. So throw the weather out. It just comes down to the best team. So, in the running game, Buffalo got a better running game.
You said you don't feel like I feel like Mahomes reads defense well enough. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say when you think of him, you think of him as the quarterback guy that's just picking everything up and just totally doing it. I know you're thinking about the feet and the arm talent, but I think he does well enough.
Mahomes, he's actually a little bit younger. He'll be 29 by September, so he's younger than I thought he was.
Mahomes is one of the best defensive readers quarterbacks in the NFL. That's why he's so successful. A quarterback that can read defenses is very successful. I don't care how they throw the ball.
He's one of the ability to scramble. I think that's his biggest benefit. Dude can scramble like hell, and I don't think people know how quick feet he is. That dude, he can get out of trouble situations. He'll take off running. He's not Lamar, but the dude he's like, when he needed, he can get a first down when he's using his leg.
Right. Basically on one leg. So I mean, that's Super Bowl, right? I mean, you pick up the AFC Championship game where he really got his leg hurt, and then even in the Super Bowl, he was like, "Look, I'm running. If I got to run, I'm running his leg." So again, he doesn't let pain or whatever how he's feeling doesn't allow to be affected. So he's tough.
And I will say, and I'll say this: I forgot the young receiver from SMU, the guy Rice. That's a guy, and I want to say, and I know Trey. You can respect this as a coach. Did you hear his post game comments when he was talking about his receiver? Mahomes was talking about Rice.
I didn't hear what he said nothing about Rice, but I did.
Well, but basically what he said, he's like, "Hey man, I knew he was a good player. He's tough. He played Texas high school football. I just wanted you to hear that. That's the only part I want you to hear the comment. I just want you to hear that. Just so he knows. So you know what I'm saying? Hey, they know how to get down here. We play a little ball.
Rice, baby.
There you go, Dante. Get it in, man. We Texas boys.
Hey, man. Hey, we'll come down to get it done because last year, even though I was bad, Philly was there. It was just cool to see. Hey, man, you got 2 high school Texas products. That was down there playing in the Super Bowl. I thought that was pretty cool. As much as I, don't care for the Eagles, that was a cool feat. Seeing 2 guys like that come from the great tradition. Because, let me see which other ones. Basically, we went over that game. Went over Baltimore. What do y'all think about the Packers? The Packers and the 49ers.
Man, look, as good as the only thing that worries me about San Francisco is Purdy. He's kind of been Jekyll and Hyde this year, so I could see, especially with the bye, I could see him stinking one up. I mean, I think the Packers, I think they got a lot of confidence right now. It wouldn't shock me. Look, San Francisco should win this game, but if Love is legit, if from what I'm seeing, if this is now that defense again, I didn't like the fact that they were giving up. You're up big and you just let Cowboys kept scoring. I think the defense needs to be a bit more solid there. But I got to give San Francisco the edge. I have to. But if Green Bay somehow or stays close in this game, I think Love's got it. And it wouldn't surprise me if they get the ball late in the game that he might be able to deliver for them. I'm really impressed with this kid, and I think that if they could just stay in the game for through 3 quarters, it's a 50-50 at that point. But I don't think there's going to be a blowout. Certainly not what we saw. Certainly in the Dallas game and even in the Steelers game for the most part, where you get up 21-0 off the rip. I don't think it's going to be that type of game. It's either going to go back and forth, or it's going to be a tightly contested game up until like the third, if not the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going. I think so. For San Francisco, I'm expecting them. I expect them to win. See,
Yeah.
Oh, lost Dante. Well, I believe Green Bay's defense is going to come back to reality, and I'm gonna say I got San Fran because even during the Dallas game, I was like, okay, Dallas, your offense at home, you should be at least be able to put points on Green Bay, and that was the whole thing. They couldn't for basically 3 quarters, and I don't think San Fran is going to one because San Fran has a more consistent ground game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to really, keep Green Bay on their toes, and then they'll just take advantage of the pay. Basically, the way Green Bay beat Dallas with that play action, the ground game, San Francisco going to return the favor. So it's just going. We got the ground. You play the team that can't really run the ball. We have the ground game to keep you honest, and then once you start keeping your eyeballs on the ground game, we're going to hit you with the play action without threatening of receiving crew we have. So I think Green Bay's defense is going to come back to earth. San Fran is going it's just going to be proved too much. I say, I put a score on it. I say San Fran 35, Green Bay 17.
Do we have a line on that game yet? I'm trying to look now for the line if they have a line for it.
I'm gonna look at this game as this is that one that can set somebody's bet over the top.
San Francisco favored by 9.
Yeah. I think this is a scary game for San Francisco because both offenses have a similar style of play. They do play action, run, play action. Green Bay's defense, they don't really have nobody to stand out. San Francisco does. I think if Jordan Love keeps his composure and Green Bay play anything similar to Dallas as far as being able to stop the run, because Christian McCaffrey gonna be the key to me because he's the runner. He's gonna be on his mark. So yeah, but if they can stop San Francisco's run, it'll eliminate that play action. And Jordan Love can continue his upstride like he's doing. I give Green, it's gonna be a lot tighter. I'm like Brother Bennett.
Career players that game. That's the only thing. They had a lot of career Romeo Dobbs, and then the fact that Aaron Jones just came alive for the Cowboys because that weak run defense that they had.
The only thing is this that you could give Green Bay. I say you got to give them a puncher shot. There's one thing about the San Francisco, not the only weakness, is throwing on the outside corners. And when I've heard people that the YouTube guys that is really out here watching the games and got the NFL access stuff, there's like when they're watching the tape, there's like you can make plays on the outside. Because I want to say, guys, when you put your, the common thing of putting your slot receiver, your best receiver on the slot, it was like that kind of helps them because they do have Greenlaw and Fred Warner playing linebacker, and they can cover well. They're so good with those interior guys, and even though they lost their strong safety, they can cover you there. And so if they can get Dobbs on the outside, Christian Watson, who's a guy who can make some big plays, that's the only thing. But I still think the running game and the fact that they're rested and healthy, because health has been something that's really hurt them. So if they can go into the game healthy, McCaffrey's rested, get him the ball, probably mix in Debo on some carries. I'm seeing winning by 10. I can see him winning that one in a good fashion. I don't quite have a score like Shawnee did, but I can say I can see them winning that one. Because that was I see them winning that one. I want to say the Ravens, both the first 2 games are predicted to be kind of lopsided because they got the Ravens favored by 9, the 49ers favored by 9, and then the Lions are 6.5, and then the Bills and Chiefs is a 3-point game. Bills are 3-point favorites.
Yeah, they tend to play very good games versus each other in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why I know that's why they put that one last because they're really looking for one of them big games, one of those big good games like they had a few years ago.
I'm not a big fan of weather games because they influence the game too much. If I'm anticipating two teams going against each other, I want to see them teams go at each other in their best. Like that whole, when it's just so cold, it's like.
So are you advocating like a neutral field for the playoffs? Everybody just go down to play their games in Dallas.
If you earned home field, you deserve it. You earned it. So I can't. It can be cold, but basically, I guess like the weather was between KC and Buffalo when it was just so cold, it interfered per se a little bit, especially.
Yeah, Mahomes' helmet literally shattered.
Yeah, it's just when it's just so cold, it will just influence the game so much. It'll make you think, damn, maybe I need to go to a neutral field because I want to see the teams go at each other.
So you want to take away that ice bowl when Green Bay beat Dallas in '67, right? That's what you.
When I was a Spurs inside my pops, man.
I don't even know if you were thought at that point. I'm just saying, but that ice bowl.
I was nowhere. No, I had to get told about that game.
Yeah,
it's ironic. Listen, it's ironic. It's funny that I would hear that type of weather condition from Southern boy. It's like, man, it's too cold.
It's the fact that
I can deal with it. I'm cool with the cold game. I'm with Shani with the ones where it's that super crazy. That's ones where my thing is I'm more so I don't want it to be that bad to where it's influential. But if it's a game where it's just really cold, if it's a little rainy, hey, it is what it is. I don't want every team in a dome. I do think that's a good thing about football where it's just like, hey, you are outside.
Condition to play.
Yeah, I'd rather have cold weather.
Give me snow, give me hail, give me all of that. Do not give me freezing rain. Because that stuff gets into your bones and you can't shake it off. When you wet and cold,
it's
that
nasty.
is the absolute worst.
I've never had to think about experiencing freezing rain. That's crazy. Like, I wouldn't want to play it.
The hard rainstorms, and that would make us sloppy, especially like high school games.
I done played in really plenty of sloppy wet rain games. Plenty of those.
Let's do it.
That cold rain gets into you, man. It's like you can't shake it off, man.
Let's do it.
As a lineman, it's like, look,
you crazy.
We in here, we in the trenches, mano a mano. I'm with that.
I'd rather go in 0 below. Yes. Give me 0 below, but don't give me like 20, like 30, 32 degrees or 33 degrees in rain, or it might have snowed the night before, and then like what we just got up here, we got some snow, and then we got that sleet that came after us, and it froze everything over, man. Oh,
this is the elite.
A lot of our teams down here in Dome Stadium, so
yeah.
This is the elite 8 of NFL football. You got to come ready to play, or you will be going home. This is the time. Yeah. This is what it's fun.
You can be elite all you want, but nobody has a plan versus weather.
You better be prepared for the cold. You better be prepared for the cold. The team just best prepared.
Coaching comes into play.
They're going to want that Super Bowl at some point. So I think new stadiums going forward, I think the league is going to certainly insist, certainly if you want to host a Super Bowl. We got lucky when they had the MetLife Stadium got built.
I was so upset at that. I was so upset at that because it's like that's the one time where I'm like, this game is made for the pristine weather. Like I was like, that's the one game I'm not about.
But I'm saying the weather cooperated. It was like 50 something.
It did. It was a nice night, and the very next day, just opened the snow and let off.
Exactly. So that was like an anomaly. But I think I think that's going to be a demand at least to have the option to open it up or close it. Because even like the Raiders, I mean, they play in the desert, but obviously, that heat is.
They got a weird stadium because it's covered, but it's open. Like as far as
they can open it up. Right. Well, not only can they retract the roof, they retract the field. Like the field, because they got to grow because they play on natural grass. Mm-hmm. So they roll the field out so it gets the sun and everything, but it doesn't get scorched in the sun, and they can bring it back in. It's crazy.
It's the Rams stadium I was thinking about.
Yeah, you're thinking about the Rams.
It can rain and it will still leak on the field because the way their roof is. It's not like solid.
It's not completely. It's kind of open air a little bit.
You know that was designed by an LA company.
So if they do domes, they have to do it similar to the styles they trying to implement as far as the stadium, being able to take the
right
field out.
You try to eliminate the extreme.
Yeah, you got to go to natural grass. I hope they do go to natural grass. Why not?
I hope
why
they
not
do too.
Get with the golf guys and say, how y'all grow y'all get grass? That's how we want to grow our grass.
They have the ability to do it. They just don't want to be pushed to do it. And it's on the players to push them into that.
Hold on, time out. But if they worry about player safety, one of the biggest changes you can make in the NFL monster is to put all fields grass fields. Yes. It'll eliminate a lot of knee, ankle, because that turf sticks.
That turf.
Grass
Speaking of that, real quick before we get to the final thoughts, that was the interesting thing about D'Amico Ryans coming back to the Texans, because he played for the Texans and he injured himself because the Texans stadium, their field, this turf, whatever, it was kind of sucky because it was causing injuries. He actually sued the Texans because of their playing surface. So he had kind of a little period where he was kind of butting heads with the organization. Obviously, they got over that, because he came back to be their head coach. But yeah, players, they take that field, that playing surface, extremely serious. And I don't blame them, because the wrong surface. I saw a graphic, and they had the injuries that happened at I don't know what they call themselves now, but basically FedEx Field in Washington, and the various injuries that they had, multiple knee injuries, and other stuff because of that playing surface. I'm like, hell no, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be
natural grass. Natural grass. Two small cars colliding at 20 miles an hour. Put that on natural grass. In the same
we need that natural grass.
Even when guys hit their helmet on the ground, it's different from hitting your helmet on turf. It's a difference.
Do you Trey, you might be able to answer this a little bit more. I mean, because I'm sure when you played on the AstroTurf, as well as you might have seen guys play on it's artificial, but it's supposed to look more like whatever they're playing on now. What did you prefer?
Oh, grass all day.
I know that. I'm just saying between those two artificial surfaces. Remember, AstroTurf was basically a carpet.
It's almost the stuff today, because the stuff back then, it wasn't nothing but a piece of cheap little thin. You can almost see through it. A little sand on the bottom, a little something.
Right.
So of course,
carpet burns and stuff on that.
Yeah.
When I was playing high school, we played on Astro type turf. And scrapped the hell out of my leg.
I would prefer today, but
I got you.
But look like we
in the NFL, we should get all grass.
Look like we done pretty much reached that time. We getting the orders to wrap it on up.
Sounds good.
I
just have one final thought. I'll just get mine out real quick. And again, I don't know if you guys might want to talk about this either after the football season or whatever, but I was kind of surprised. I knew, so obviously Alabama's got their new coach. I was a bit surprised how fast it was. A week after you were in the national championship game, and then Alabama was calling. I don't know how all the rules work in college football in terms of tampering and all that kind of stuff. But that seems lightning quick. 1 week after you basically the number 2 team in the country, and you're leaving for Alabama for only $1 million a year more than what you were getting at Washington. It wasn't like they gave him $10 million.
I know we got to go, but it's that theory. You, as an AD, especially at Alabama, you have to keep a list of guys that you would get to take over in case of emergency, scandal, whatever. And I heard that he was like the 5th option. If you look at it, there's a list out there of guys that they secretly got feelers out to and who came. I know they talked to the coach, Dan Lanning, at Oregon, and he turned it down.
Maybe next show we can kind of open up with that and talk about that a little bit more. But I was very surprised.
We were supposed to talk about this.
We just got into the playoffs. But man, people, I appreciate y'all for coming out in the week. Everybody in the chat showing love, man. Come check us out next week as we break down the NFC and AFC championships and the Wild Card week up, and maybe even get a little bit of basketball if we got enough time. But we appreciate y'all as always. Trey, Mr. Bennett, Johnny, as always. We'll see y'all later, man.
Have a good one.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute, work hard for the car, so that's why it's all tinted. Wait a minute, Had a real late night, woke up with my head spinning out Nashville. It's been mad real. I need sunglasses, I need Advil. I like fake moves and my cash real. I like first place, you're in last still. Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle.
Look, pocket rocket in my pocket, please don't make me pop it. All these boys just wanna copy the style, tell them niggas stop it. Whoa, whoa, this my destiny, feeling like Latoya, like it found me my Beyonce, and she shotgun in the cockpit. Grinding with the team, making C-notes. In my pocket still full of green, call it CeeLo. Alligator watch on me, Tim Tebow. And these haters love to watch me like Tebow. Look, I don't take L's, I just learn a lesson. Before I count the M's, always count my blessings. Look, I'm too short, never second guessing. Got some money, put up for the rain, so I'm never stressing.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Tempo's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles.